Guys, you can tell it's Christmas. You can tell it's Christmas because we are getting a brand new Far Cry game in only a few weeks' time. February, guys. Get this. Hold on to your asses, guys. Get this. It's set in exactly the same place as Far Cry 5. The same world, guys. 17 years later. How cool is that? Isn't this the Far Cry we've always wanted? But get this, it gets better, guys. It gets better. The enemies, remember we had Vass in Far Cry 3. What an amazing enemy he was. Well, honestly, Vass, I'm sorry. Fuck you, Vass. We have way better now. That is going to be such an awesome encounter fighting these two. But get this, guys. Get this. It gets better. Everything seems to be pink in the game. There's pink flowers everywhere. Your UI is even pink. The health bars is even pink. Everything's pink. The colour pink just reverberates through this game all over the place. And it's not just even any old pink. It's just the most amazing shade of pink that I just can't wait to switch all the lights off in the room so it's pitch black when I'm playing this and just to have the pinkness come off the screen. It's just going to be... I can't even describe how I'm feeling now, guys. I can't... I didn't get me Wild West game, guys. No, I didn't get me Wild West game. We aren't going back to the 1800s, guys. We aren't going to be a sheriff. We aren't going to be an outlaw. We aren't going to have a gang in the Wild West with towns and first person on a horse and going into towns and into saloons. We aren't going to have any of that. We aren't even going to have a Vietnam game. We aren't even going to have a big Far Cry Vietnam game. Nope, that's not happening either. Instead, we've got the same old fucking world from Far Cry 5 with some fucking god-awful enemies. Talk about being fucking deflated. And everything's fucking pink, guys. Why? Pre-order now and get a fucking unicorn trike that's fucking pink as well. The only good thing about this game, let's go through it. It's 17 years after Far Cry 5. You're a survivor and you have a camp called Prosperity. Fuck off, please. Now you expand the camp and the people in the camp by going on missions to get shit. Scavenging. It's after the apocalypse. Mad Max. Rage 2, you know. You go on expeditions to get stocks and recruit people. And that's off map. It's not on the map of the open world map. It's off map. In instances, essentially. You'll be going to little instances all set around America. So, you know, famous places around America you'll go to. And you'll have to do missions and all that. And scavenge and bring stuff back for your camp to expand it. Which, that sounds good. I like the sound of that. That sounds like a good progression system where you can get hopefully blueprints for weapons or parts for weapons and stuff like that. I like that. I like the idea you've got a camp. I like the idea that you're going out and you're bringing shit back to your camp, making your camp better. That's the kind of progression I like in a game. So I'm fine about that. Good. Also, Joseph's in this. Joseph, he was tied to a car in the trailer, but he's also at the end of the trailer. Joseph's in this. Now, I could be wrong, but you actually may be on the same side as Joseph in this. I don't know any of this yet. I'm just speculating. I'm also speculating that there's possible animal taming in this because there's a bit where there's a wild boar which is attacking somebody, but then it's coming back to you and licking your face. So, you know, and there's also the dog, which looks hideous, by the way. There's a dog in this game. So, you know, dog's man's best friend and all that. Oh, did I say man's best friend? Sorry. I was going to say man and woman's best friend, but you can't say woman now. People's best friend. Dog is a people's best friend. Yeah. Okay, it's a good job I didn't say fisherman. Oh, shit! I mean fisherfolk. Sorry, did I say fisherman? Shit, I said it again. Fisherfolk. I don't know if there's any fisherfolks in this. But anyway, we'll see. But anyway, you are a survivor in this camp and you're trying to save mankind. I mean, peoplekind, not mankind. I can't talk, guys. It's so hard to talk politically correct. It's just fucking ridiculous. There's also a rumour that it's going to have Battle Royale. Let's be honest, guys. Everything has fucking Battle Royale, you know? So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if multiplayer mode has Battle Royale. All I want multiplayer mode to have, by the way, is co-op. Now, I would like I said in my review of Far Cry 5, I would like to see them up the co-op by allowing the person who joins the game to have their progress done as well. I can't see them doing it, but they did that in Wildlands, but Wildlands played differently to Far Cry 5. The whole game, to me, just reeks of laziness, I'm afraid. I mean, they're using the same world as Far Cry 5. Obviously, it's 17 years later, obviously after the big event. So, you know, the world looks a lot different to it than it did in Far Cry 5 in the sense buildings are older, they're covered in like ivy and stuff like that. A lot of the churches is empty and there's a lot of the other buildings is just old now and no one goes in them. So, you know, you're breaking into these old buildings trying to scavenge what's out there as well. You've got the highwaymen, which is the enemy gang, if you like, who seem to be a right nasty bunch of bastards, but as always, they always are in a Far Cry game. But I have a horrible, horrible feeling, guys, that this is just going to be a copy and pasted Far Cry 5. I really do have that awful feeling that all they're going to do with this game, it's just, like I say, set 17 years later, but you're going to have pretty much exactly the same shit going down, apart from the fact that you've got these expeditions and this time you're in a camp which needs to be upgraded and I guess is rather secure from the enemy raids, because it does look like you can get attacked by the enemy. So that's going to be interesting. That's the best bit about the trailer, and that's the only bit that I'm really looking forward to. But overall, I have to say I am absolutely devastated that we are revisiting the same fucking timeline pretty much as Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was a fun game. It had pretty shitty AI. I thought the story was tragic. It was not as in sad, I mean just fucking awful, the story. But I love the co-op, I love the gunplay from it. But it doesn't look as though they've really thought out of the box for Far Cry 6. It looks like they've just kind of says, oh, you know what? Let's just keep the same world and we don't have to rebuild a new world, you know. Let's throw a couple of instance missions in, you know, just to give them a little bit variety. But essentially you're getting Far Cry 5 DLC. That's what it looks like to me. And this isn't a DLC. This is a standalone product. Far Cry 5 came out, I think, in March this year. This is coming out in February. They haven't even been working on this a year by the looks of it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long they've been working on this. It could have been more than that. I don't know. But for me, it just looks like a very lazy cash grab using the same assets that was in Far Cry 5. And that's disappointing because there are so many great places you could set the Far Cry franchise in, and it does need to get away from this copy and paste. You know, it needs to get away from that, and it needs some new blood inject. It doesn't, just because it's called Far Cry does not mean that you have to have these stupid fucking ropes hanging down from everywhere you can climb up. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have a fucking tower that you climb up to open up the fucking world. You don't have to have a hood that is so fucking cluttered that looks ridiculous. You don't have to have all these things in a Far. It can be something else, you know, because if you go back to where the first Far Cry was, it was nothing like what it is now. And I would like to see it go back to its roots a bit more and stop pandering to these people who need all these fucking things on. At least in Far Cry 5, and I will say this in its defense, you could turn a hell of a lot of these things off without affecting the overall difficulty of the game in the sense of making enemies fucking bullet sponges. I like that. I do know that this one does still have bases for the enemy, but I do know there's an escalation system in this one where when you attack bases, when you've took a base over, well, when you've killed all the enemy, you have a choice. You can either pillage the fuck out of that base or take it for your own group. Now, if you choose to pillage it, you will get a lot of stuff from it. But the enemy will come back and reclaim the base and put up even stronger defenses than what they had the last time. That sounds interesting. That might be good. That might be cool. You know, do you go for the extra stuff knowing that it's going to be harder to take next time, or do you take the base and sacrifice supplies that you might have needed? That sounds like a really good thing. I just hope it's a good game when it comes out, and I just hope that Ubisoft have looked at what happened to Electronic Arts when they tried to pander to certain political groups, and I hope they keep politics well away from this game. I don't like the look of all the pink stuff at the minute. I'm getting concerned that they may be trying to pander to a certain group of people, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I just want a good fucking game with good maps, good gunplay and great villains, because that's what made Far Cry 3 such a great game. Vass was an amazing villain. I just want that. Is it too much to ask for games to be better than how they were like 10 years ago? I mean, bloody hell. Get your fucking finger out, lads and lasses, on the programming. Make us good. Make games great again. Oh, you can't say that, can you? You'll get attacked. Fucking hell, I hate the world.